We are a regional NGO dealing on issues of ICT policy and regulation on the continent. And we are here in Malawi to try and work with our partners, colleagues, to see how best they can advance and advocate for digital rights online. As a continent, we have embraced digital technologies, internet, ICTs. A lot is happening. There are a lot of laws that are very restrictive to people's access and affordability of the internet. A lot of practices, there is a lot of surveillance going on by our governments. A lot of data collection programs going on without enabling laws that would protect the privacy of the data that the different agencies of government and private sector are collecting. And then, of course, we're experiencing a lot of internet disruptions. And of course, these affect access, affordability, and usage of digital technologies, especially the internet. So we are here trying to work with partners in Malawi to see how best can we advance these digital rights.
The civil society in Malawi is one of the most vibrant civil society community that you can get, especially in offline things. They've been very active in making sure that democracy is kept afloat, and there's a lot of engagement with authorities and even the citizenry. But there's not been a lot that has been done in the digital space. We're moving into a society that is putting almost all the services on the digital platforms. So there's also need to look at digital rights and internet freedom. The main thing that we're coming out of this workshop is we're coming up with what we're calling the Internet Freedom Advocacy Strategy. These civil society organizations are coming up with a paper that we're going to be guided on. What do we do to make sure that this space is active, the digital rights space is active, but we're also addressing some of the gaps that we've identified.
The workshop has made me realize that we have really ignored issues of data security and even the right to express views on the internet. And it has also made me realize that I'll explain more on data protection. For example, in Malawi, we have conducted several activities which has included harvesting data from people. For example, we have national registrations, and then we have SIM card registration. Where is our data going? Is our data protected? We put data in for our bank accounts. It has made me realize that we don't have a policy that actually protects our data. In this case, data protection policy. It's of great importance that we have this law and then to protect our data.
It's been quite very helpful in the sense that there are some things that we are not quite aware that they do exist. But with the training that we had, we have been able to grasp some 2 or 3 or 4 components as regards to issues to do with digital security as well as human rights. I head the information department, of which, following the training that we have had, I'll be able to even adapt it in our information department on how best we can protect our data and how best we can use our data, online data rather, in terms of program implementation as well as programming our various activities. Because within the information department, we've got governance programs which are very sensitive, and the information given in the 2 days training workshop possibly we'll be able to vet and even plan well on how best we can post, or how best we can restore, and how best we can even disseminate sensitive information on an online platform. and looking at the proceedings and the topics that have been covered in the training, surely there's something that has been gained, and I'm sure that everything else that has been learned today is going to be of greatest importance, not only to me, but to the nation as well, including the institution where I'm working.
The biggest takeaway, which I found very powerful and interesting, is the gaps in the legislation that Malawi currently has, and the need for us to advocate for new legislative amendments so that we can fill in those gaps. But most importantly is the lack of a Data Protection Act. This is quite concerning to me because Malawi has just done a national registration massive where we all freely gave all our personal data to a database, which we don't even have any legislation that can give us comfort that that information is secured and that can outline how that information is going to be used. You know, one of the biggest takeaway as well has been the knowledge that, you know, our data is our currency. So someone can simply harvest that information and use it without us knowing. So I think we need to address the legislative anomalies and gaps and also advocate for the introduction as swiftly as possible for a Data Protection Act. I think Malawi needs one as of yesterday. The other thing has been in terms of asking the question that once you give your data freely, who keeps it and where is it stored? You know, I was asked that question during the training. Where do banks store our information? What do they do to it? Who gets access to that information? Do we give permission for them to access that information? So I think those kind of questions have made me more aware and conscious of who I'll be sharing my personal data with to ensure that my data, my currency is secure. There needs to be more awareness. You know, people can't agitate for things that they don't know anything about. So we need to start going about informing, educating, and just equipping general Malawians, all Malawians, on the importance of our data footprint, but also on the importance of having reliable, affordable access to the internet. It's shocking that Malawi, as poor as we are, our data, you know, bundles cost so much. And one of the things we learned from this training is that data bundles in themselves are restrictive because they limit you to a specific sphere of operating within the internet. Whereas if you had unlimited access, you could gain more, you could download more. You know, the people who have been innovators in the space of technology had, you know, great internet connectivity. Maybe that is what's stunting Malawi's advancement in innovating for technology.